Meanwhile, former President Trump's New York trial is headed into the final stretch now, as Trump's defense team rests without calling Trump to testify. Trump says that his defense team, quote, won the case, and he is calling on Judge Merchan to dismiss the charges. Court resumes next week after the Memorial Day holiday, where the jury will hear closing arguments. Here's the former president yesterday. Watch.
I'd like to be out campaigning right now, but again, I'm going to be in here almost 5 weeks in court. They have no case. There's no crime. We'll be resting pretty quickly. Resting meaning resting the case. I won't be resting. I don't rest.
Joining me now is the CEO of Constellations Group and Trump campaign donor, Bill White. Bill, it's great to see you.
Great to see you, Maria.
Thank you so much for being here. You are always so great on veterans, and I want to ask you about that. But first, you were in court yesterday with President Trump. What did you witness?
Well, I have to tell you, now I know why they are not allowing cameras into the courtroom. They do not want to provide transparency to this process. You know, in Georgia, as much as you like or don't like Fani Willis, those cameras are in that courtroom and you see everything. It's transparent to the American people. They are using lawfare to prosecute a former president, the first time ever in history. And in being in that courtroom, I watched how the judge forget that he's biased, that he donated to Joe Biden, that his daughter is making tens of millions of dollars from the Democratic Party, that his daughter posted a photo of President Trump behind bars in jail. He should have recused himself. He is totally conflicted. But I watched this and I said to myself, this is why cameras are not being allowed in there. He does not want anybody to see how he rules for the prosecution every time. It is truly unbelievable to sit in that courtroom and watch that. Here you have a 77-year-old man who is the leading candidate for president, who should be out on the campaign trail. And he's here in New York, the city that I love. I ran the Intrepid Museum for 20 years.
Yes.
I worked with President Trump. I've known him for 30 years. He's a wonderful, decent man that he has to go down there every day instead of being out talking to the American people about fixing our country. It's truly disgraceful.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you something. I look at the judge, and he's wearing a black robe, and justice is supposed to have a blind eye. I really saw him wearing a prosecution jersey. He's on their team. He's not on the side of the defendant to protect his rights. You gag the prosecution. You don't gag the defendant.
Yeah.
It's made to gag the prosecution for saying things against the defendant, and in this case, it's reversed.
Well, even Michael Cohen has been on TikTok attacking Trump, and he had never got a gag order.
Yeah.
Was there anything that happened yesterday that was particularly egregious that you witnessed firsthand?
Yes, I watched the, they call it the charging of the jury conversation. So both sides argue about what the judge will say to the jury. And the judge ruled against President Trump's attorneys, who are brilliant, their complaints. He ruled with the prosecution almost every single time. And I'm watching the judges. He looks at everybody in the courtroom. He never looks at President Trump. He doesn't have it in him to look at President Trump.
Wow.
And it told me about this man. I'm watching him, and it was truly disgusting to see that. And he has a smirk on his face every time he says to Trump's attorneys, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to side with the people. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to side with the people. You know what the people want? They want to elect President Trump and have him back on the campaign trail.
Having said that, yes, the people seem to be seeing through this the way you are. For the first time this election cycle, the Trump campaign has out-fundraised the Biden campaign, bringing in $76.2 million in April to Biden's $51 million. Talk to us about that, because you've also been leading some of this fundraising push. You chaired a Log Cabin Republicans campaign event at Mar-a-Lago with the former First Lady, Melania Trump. You introduced Melania back in April. More than $1 million was raised there. What kind of a reaction are you getting when you talk with donors?
Well, to be honest with you, you know, I have a great relationship with many wonderful people here in New York who we raised almost $1 billion at the Intrepid for our nation's veterans. So a lot of those people I've been friends with for many years, and they are seeing this lawfare as an excuse and a reason and an excitement to get behind President Trump. Fundraising is through the roof. You know, some folks said we had to catch up to President Biden. I said, well, why do we have to catch up to President Biden when we're ahead of President Biden in the polls? But our fundraising is very strong. You know, we had an event in Florida that I attended, $50 million. This event that Rick Grinnell, our great friend, And, you know, he is the first openly gay cabinet member to serve in President Trump's administration. Melania Trump raised almost $2.5 million. She's going to do another event in New York, so we should have her on to talk about that. And I think it's very telling that all of these cases are not only helping President Trump in the polls, but they're helping him in the fundraising. Because people literally, I feel empathetic to him. I don't want to say I feel sorry for him because he'd be angry at me saying that, because he's a fighter. He never settles. He never gives in, and he's fighting for all of us. And the money is coming in, and that says something about what this is all about, too.
Well, look, President Biden highlighted the work of veterans yesterday in New Hampshire, saying that the VA will provide benefits to nearly 890,000 veterans impacted by toxic exposure. Here's what he said.
I'll never make up for the loss, for having lost a piece of your soul, the husband, wife, son, daughter. But we owe it to folks, all of them, everyone we can, to help put their lives back together, because it's tough stuff. In America, we leave no veteran behind. That's the motto.
Well, the RNC Research X account responded saying, what about his botched Afghanistan withdrawal? Bill, you were president and CEO of the Intrepid Museum in New York City. As you said, for more than 20 years, you're a national advocate for our military and veterans. Today, when you think about veterans, the illegal migrants coming into the country are actually getting a better shot than our veterans. I mean, you've got veterans homeless on the street, and migrants are being put in hotels.
Yeah, it's very true. I watched that clip from President Biden. I don't even know what he said. I couldn't really understand what he was saying. But if you think, I don't like criticizing when a president is doing an event supporting veterans, but I will just say this. There is no president that was better for veterans than Donald J. Trump. What he did to clean up the VA, provide funding, take people out of there who are abusing veterans, make their appointments move faster, and get them the benefits that this country owes them and deserves, that they deserve. Donald Trump is the best president for veterans in the history of my working with them over the last 30 years, bar none. And I would just say, to your point, the veterans that I speak to cannot believe that this southern border is open, and they're getting cash cards and phone cards and hotel rooms and flights to New York. I was just walking over here to your studio outside of the Roosevelt Hotel, and I saw people fighting who are migrants. They've been there 7 months fighting. And so what President Biden is saying now, as it's coming to Election Day, to help veterans, it's a little too late. I think if we have President Trump back in the White House, you're going to see the Veterans Administration flourishing, supporting our nation's veterans, which we owe them.
Yeah, and thank you for all of that, saying that this morning, just ahead of Memorial Day weekend, as we honor all of the people who gave their lives and lost their lives to fight for our freedom. I want to ask you about your bid. You want Buckhead in Atlanta to break away from Atlanta. Tell us about this. It's coming up short. The Georgia State Senate blocked the push back in March. Do you still want, why do you want Buckhead to be a separate area away from Atlanta?
Well, you know, the one thing we were trying to do is we just want, like every other cityhood movement in the state of Georgia, we want just to have a vote. Let the people vote. In every other cityhood initiative, Governor Kemp allowed every single one of those initiatives a vote. And in this particular one, he and some folks who are very close to the city of Atlanta political machine decided they did not want to allow Buckhead to have its vote. We are the murder capital of the South. We have 1,200 homes that are being invaded by squatters. My house was robbed. My sister-in-law's house was home invaded.
Oh, my God.
Buckhead needs its own police department and its ability to tax and govern itself. So let's let them vote.
Well, Fonnie Willis just won her primary reaction.
Yeah. Well, I think Courtney Kramer, who's running against her, is going to give her a good shot. It's very hard to run and win as a Republican in Fulton County, but Fonnie Willis is on notice. The world has watched what she's done. She is corrupt, and she is prosecuting President Trump because she loves the ratings she gets on TV, not because there's a case.
It's also extraordinary, Bill. It's great to talk with you about it. Thank you so much.
Great to see you.
Great to see you. Bill White joining us there.